Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Tate's XBLA Corner, only on GameZone.com. I'm your host, Tate Steinlog, and I'll be diving headfirst into the latest Xbox Live Arcade and Xbox Live Indie games, letting you know if they're worth spending points on or if you should merely pass. Internet, hello, we meet again. As always, it's me, Tate Steinloggy, on behalf of GameZone.com, bringing you yet another week of Tate's XBLA Corner goodness. This week's episode takes us on a bit of an adventure, one that includes a Screamo Fighter, remake platformer, and an absolutely bizarre mix of unicorns and ponies, but we'll get to that later. For now, let's begin with Charlie Murder. Charlie Murder is the second installment of this year's Summer of Arcade promotion. And in many respects, it's a lovely testament to one of the games that really took this campaign past liftoff. Yes, I'm talking about Castle Crashers. Built on the foundation of button mashing, boss battles, and a few RPG fundamentals, Charlie Murder offers an incredible amount of content to drool over. It's not necessarily a deep game with substance and story, but like Dragon's Crown on PlayStation, it's simply a delight to sit down and joyfully grind through the artistic arenas and intriguing player characteristics. Whether that's 5 minutes or 2 hours, it doesn't matter. It doesn't carry the emotional impact like Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons provided, but at 800 Microsoft points, you'd be doing yourself an injustice to not at least check out the trial version of Charlie Murder. "20 years ago, while I was chilling inside my mother's womb, hanging out, being a nerd and all that jazz, retro gamers were out enjoying the classic action-adventure game Flashback. However, Ubisoft and developer VectorCell have reimagined the franchise and turned it into an Xbox Live Arcade platformer. When I first fired up Flashback, no part of me whatsoever expected the game to be a platformer. Heck, the box art itself is some cyborgs and a dude with a gun looking like he's about to go ham on some enemies. Nonetheless, what caught my attention early on was the detail developer VectorCell put into the game. It's a pretty game right from the start. The concept too shows quite the promise, but you find out early on that this actiony platformer is hindered by some clunky controls and choppy control turnover. Perhaps we've just been spoiled with blockbusters like Assassin's Creed or Splinter Cell and their climbing mechanics, but there's just something about Flashback that held me back from enjoying my time with it. If you're at all interested though, Flashback is available as well for 800 Microsoft points along with a free trial version. With Live Arcade being so scarce this week, we move on to two absurdities that come from the Xbox Live Indie Game channel. This first game literally pissed me off so much that I contemplated not giving it any press, but it's so ridiculous I had to share. I present to you Unicorn Makeout Mania. Yeah, you heard it right. If I could sum up the experience in 4 words, it would be, sex doesn't always sell. The game attempts to be this sexual fighting game where you must take down your opponent by making out with them. Too bad half the time I couldn't even tell which unicorn I was on screen because the UI is absolutely non-existent. This is literally the worst of the worst when it comes to indie games, and in no way should you support this 80 Microsoft point crock of crap. And yes, I'm being nice. Last but not least is a game that didn't piss me off by any means. It was just utterly bizarre. Ermahgerd Ponies. The game falls under the racing genre, but that's an absolute stretch because what you're really trying to do is collect coins and bring them back to your home base in hopes that you can out-collect the other ponies. Along the way you'll run into literally walking donuts and hot dogs, so you know, there's that. Even at 80 Microsoft points, I'd advise you to save up and try your luck at Dollar Dash. It's something similar in nature but executed far better than this Ermahgerdness. That's going to do it for this week's edition of Tate's XBLA Corner. Remember, you can always find the latest gaming news, tricks, cheats, originals, and of course more of me on GameZone.com. Thanks for watching.